Hello, in this video we are going to see about the spotters in community medicine. Here we have to understand a few basics about spotters. That is, you have to identify the spotters. After identifying the spotters, you have to write the identification points, how you say that particular spotter. Then you have to write about the uses of that particular spotter. Then you have to think about public health importance of that particular. I have categorized this spotters into 7 groups. First is your contraceptives. In this video, we are going to deal about a few basics. That is, within 15 to 20 minutes, how can you cover all the spotters? That is the ultimate objective of this session. So we have in contraceptive groups, most commonly kept contraceptives are given here, and moreover identification of that particular contraceptive will not be a difficulty. So I am straight away going into the points what you are supposed to write in answer sheets. Here first is your male condom. So whenever particular contraceptive is given, you have to write what type of contraceptive is it is, whether it is permanent or temporary or barrier or hormonal or intrauterine contraceptive devices. All these things you should mention. Then you can write the mechanism of action, then the ideal candidates who need that particular type of contraceptive. Anyway, ultimately you are going to have the cafeteria approach to the patients, that you are going to offer the advantages and disadvantages of each contraceptive. Let the patient have to choose what type of contraceptive he needs. This is the simple basic about contraceptives. So male condom, here I have not mentioned about female condom or diaphragm or cervical cap, etc. It is ideal for newly married, lactating and multiple sexual partners. And the advantage is protection from STDs. It is simple, available and cheap. It needs motivation during sex, which is not needed in the other form of contraceptives. Now we move on to oral contraceptive pills, which is the most effective contraceptive. Mala N and Mala D are the two government preparations. That is 28 days you give these tablets. First 21 days will have this hormonal pills. Then the last 7 days will be just iron and folic acid. So it will cause withdrawal bleeding. That is the mechanism of action. Then we have emergency contraceptive pills. Most commonly used is levonorgestrel. So the most important advantage of is we can use it as a postcoital contraception, which is followed by intrauterine devices. The first generation are just the inert devices. Second generation are the copper containing or silver containing. Third generation are the hormonal releasing thing. The main disadvantage is the bleeding and pain. Then the terminal methods. Here we are in that terminal methods. Terminal methods, which is vasectomy and tubectomy. Here vasectomy and tubectomy. So it is generally recommended after 2 children, and are the as a permanent method of sterilization. Usually models will be kept in exams. So the disadvantage is reversibility, and you need a surgery for this. So this is about MCH group of spotters, that is maternal and healthcare related spotters. We have iron and folic acid, ORS and growth chart. All these can be easily identified, and the points are just theory, and students know more about it. The fourth one, which is Shakir's tape, which is used as a measuring tool for malnutrition. The yellow line indicates mild malnutrition, and the red line indicates the severe malnutrition. So this is a normal level. Then we have a baby weighing scale, the Salters type of weighing scale, where we hang the weighing scale. So for baby we can measure through this baby weighing scale. Then we have Sally's hemoglobinometer, for the measurement of the hemoglobin. Then we have a disposable delivery kit containing the essential items for the delivery. Then we have partograph, that is a graph which identifies when to intervene and when to refer the patient, and to chart to identify the progress of the labor. It consists of the multiple parameters like fetal heart rate, then contractions, number of contractions, then pulse, BP, etc. Then we are moving into the nutrition group of spotters. Here you have to understand the fact that some are very difficult to identify. The students may not be familiar with the food substances, but I will help you in understanding certain things. So this is a white rice. Usually people will do parboiling process, which increases the normal shelf life of the rice, so that they can store it for a long time. On this process we have a nutritional advantage, that the micronutrients which is present in the husk of the rice will go inside, deep inside, and the nutritive value is increased. So milled rice people may get niacin deficiency, thiamine deficiency, and other B complex deficiency also. Parboiled nutritive value, parboiled is nutrition related spotters. We have cereals, pulses, and other spotters, which are other food items which are used in our everyday cooking. So this is about the cereals. The basic thing about cereals are that they have more carbohydrates. Pulses will have more proteins. That is the basic. In cereals, as it end with L, cereals, you pronounce it as cereals. So cereal and pulses. So cereal end with L. So that it is all the cereals are deficient with lysine. Pulses, yes. So it end with S. So all the pulses are deficient of sulfur containing amino acids, that is cysteine and methionine. Out of the cereals, rice has more number of lysine. Then this is about your wheat. We can identify all. You have to mention about the nutritive value of all the cereals. More or less it will be around 340 kilocalories. So the nutritive value is going to be the same. Why wheat is little superior is because of its fiber content and calcium and mineral contents compared to rice. Then we have maize. This is bajra. Bajra should not be confused with jowar. Bajra is little green in color. This is ragi. It should not be confused with mustard. Ragi is a little smaller when compared to mustard, and moreover you can witness the difference in the colors intensity. It starts from light brown to dark brown. So that is a sign of ragi. Then we have grams. Grams wise, we can identify this is tur dal or the red gram. This is masoor dal. This is moong dal, which is a product of green gram. This is the green gram, and moong dal is a product of green gram. And this is urad dal. Urad dal means your black gram, and urad dal is the product of this black gram. So they will while breaking it down, this covering will go off and it will make it as a white color. Then this is the channa dal or your Bengal gram, and there are many varieties with the channa gram. That is roasted channa, roasted Bengal gram. All these varieties are the byproducts of the Bengal gram. Now in nutrition we have soya bean, groundnut and all these can be identified easily, and the public health importance and also can be written easily. Now we are moving into the immunization. All these vaccines will be kept as a spotters for you, and the most important thing is the one core important thing is that you need to remember the national immunization schedule. With that we can easily write the answers for this spotters. So basically, we have to know what are all the newer additions into the national immunization schedule. We have BCG, hepatitis B at OPV at birth, then pentavalent, fractional IPV, rotavirus, pneumococcal conjugate, measles, rubella, Japanese encephalitis, vitamin A, and DPT booster, measles. This is the age-wise list, and you have to remember the fact that all these vaccine injectables are going to be IM, except for your OPV and sorry, except for your IPV and BCG, which is intradermal. And since it is intradermal, we have the dose as zero point 0.1 ml, and the one more exception is the subcutaneous vaccines, that is measles and JE. So measles and JE are subcutaneous vaccines. BCG and IPV are intradermal vaccines. So the dose, except for this intradermal, the dose remains same as 0.5 ml. Then you have to remember about site also. So we have completed the due age for that vaccines. Then we have completed the route of the administration, and while route of administration we have told about this dose also. Now we are into the site. How to remember is, all of us know that BCG vaccine site is on the left upper arm. So one more we have one more intradermal injection, so that should be on the other side of the upper arm. So that will be on the right upper arm. So that is the thing. Then we have two subcutaneous vaccines. One is on the right, that is measles will be on the right, and Japanese encephalitis will be on the left. Then all the vaccines will be on the standard places. So this is hepatitis B will be on the left, pentavalent will be on the left again, fractional IPV will be on the right, then DPT booster will be on the left. This we have to remember. Then after 1 year, every 6 months we need to give vitamin A, which is 2 ml, which is equivalent to 2 lakh international units. If it is less than 1 year, that is at 9th month, we give 1 dose of vitamin A, 1 ml, that is 1 lakh international units. So that is how you should remember this national immunization schedule. And if you remember this national immunization schedule, all these list of vaccines can be easily written in spotters. Now we should not forget to mention about TT while mentioning TT, that it is included in the national immunization schedule for the pregnant woman also. Then immunization part, we have one more group, that is the cold chain maintenance items, that is your day carrier. This box is called as, blue box is called as day carrier, and the white box which is present inside is called as the ice pack. And in some departments they may have deep freezers and ice-lined refrigerators to prepare this ice pack. These are all essential components in the maintenance of cold chain of vaccines. And this picture, we have this vaccine vial monitor, that is we have outer circle and inner square. The inner square should be lighter than the outer circle. When it becomes the intensity or the color becomes same, then it is becoming unfit for injection. So this vaccine vial monitor is just a cumulative measure of exposure to the heat. Then we are moving into the entomology. Here the identification of mosquitoes, eggs and larvae is very important. We have three type of mosquitoes commonly kept for spotters, that is Anopheles, Aedes and Culex, eggs, larvae and the adult mosquitoes. Eggs, as the image indicates, it is very clear. Aedes lay eggs singly, that we have to remember. Aedes lay eggs singly. Anopheles have the lateral rafts, that is both like so that is your lateral rafts. So that when the raft is present, then that is an Anopheles egg. This also is laid singly. And Culex, it lay eggs in clusters. So Culex eggs are in clusters. You have to remember that way. That's how we can identify the eggs. Then when we move on to the larvae, the easily it can be identified with the siphon tube. The absence of the siphon tube here indicates it is in the Anopheles species. The very long, slender siphon tube indicates it is Culex larvae. Very short and stout siphon tube here indicates that it is a Aedes species of larvae. This is how you should identify the larvae of different species of mosquitoes. Then for an adult mosquito, basically you have to identify between male and female. Male and female can be identified by the bushy antennas. That is, here the central part is that is proboscis. This is the antenna. This is the palpi. So here, if the antenna is bushy, then that means that is a male mosquito. If the antenna is not bushy, then that which is equivalent to mustache in males. So if the antenna is not bushy, then it is a female. So here we have to identify the species. So first is you have to look at the wings. If you have any spotted wings, then that is Anopheles. If you have the look at the body, if you have the branded alternate bands like tiger-like appearance, then that is called as Aedes mosquito. If nothing is there, then that is a Culex mosquito. The one more identification is in Culex mosquito, the body will be proportionately very small when compared to the head and the thorax. Then one more identification is through the mouth parts, that is with the length of the palpi and with the length of the proboscis. So when the length of the proboscis is almost equal, then that is an Anophelan species, that is Anopheles. When the length of the palpi is more than that of the proboscis, then that may be either Aedes or Culex. So we have to write it as Culecine mosquito. Now these are all the other group of insects which are of medical importance other than mosquitoes. So this is the lice. This is the shape itself make you identify it as head louse. Then this is the pubic louse. More or less the images which is present in the slides will be same. Because of the poor preparation of the slides, it may be very difficult to identify. That may happen. Now then you have to identify the housefly, how it is different from black fly and the CC fly. Then this characteristic image will represent the rat flea, and we have hard tick and soft tick. This is the soft tick and this is the hard tick. You can identify with the shape alone. Then this is the itch mite. Here most important thing is, after identification you have to write what disease they are the vectors, and what is the causative organism, and what is the control measure for the disease. And this is the cyclops. So I'm not going into the details of the diseases. The last group is the insecticides and disinfectants, which can be identified easily from the spotters, and the theory part you can read. Then coming on to the environment, all this will be kept as a models, and here you have to read a little theory after identification of the models. This image shows the personal protective equipments which are very important in occupational health spotters. We have gloves, helmets, aprons, helmets. Sorry, this is a mask. Mask. This is ear plugs, ear muffs will be there. So all these things are very important in occupational health spotters. Now in environment, the spotters which are very difficult to identify is the Horrocks apparatus, which consists of the 6 white cups and 1 black cup. This is an apparatus used for measuring the amount of bleaching powder needed to disinfect the water. If Horrocks apparatus is the apparatus needed to measure the amount of bleaching powder to disinfect the water, and this is the equipment called chloroscope, which measures the adequacy of chlorination after the addition of bleaching powder. So this is the chloroscope. Based on the color levels, we can titrate how much amount of chlorine is present, the residual chlorine is present in the water. Then we have sling hygrometer, which is used in the measurement of humidity. We will rotate this, we will hold here and rotate this as a constant at a constant speed. So this will help us in measuring the humidity. Then we have kata thermometer. Kata thermometer, this is the red one, and kata thermometer also helps in measuring the cooling power of the air and also humidity. And we have wet and dry bulb thermometer. This helps in measuring the humidity and cooling power of the air. Then we have maximum and minimum thermometer. This will help in measuring the maximum and minimum temperatures of the day. With this we are ending the spotters thing. So here what is most important is that for the contraceptives, I have presented a table with the advantages, disadvantages, and the ideal candidate of that particular contraceptive. That is most important. Then we discussed about the national immunization schedule, which is important for all the vaccines. Then the species identification of the mosquitoes by egg, larvae, and adult. All these things you should remember. Then the rest of all things are just theory. You can identify easily. All the best for your spotters. Thank you.